Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Priya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Priya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Sodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Shri Prabhupada ki jai Shri Karmadeva ki jai Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki jai Grantharashtra Bhagavatam ki jai Go Premanandi Transcendental Harinam Sankirtan Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya We're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 3, right? What verse number? I don't know. Must be one of the early verses, huh? Yeah. Which verse? Anybody there? First canto, chapter 3, text number.
Donc c'est le verset 16, chapter 3, verse 16.
16. Yep, well, we've got a little time, we've got to rush actually. Program's earlier than I thought it was. Sura Suranam Udiding. Together. Sura Suranam Udiding. Matnatam Mandarachalam. Dadreka Mata Rupena. There's an English one over there if you want it. I think so. Up here, one English Bhagavatam, isn't it? Yeah. Prishta Ekadashe Vibhu. Sura Suranamudading. Matnatam Mandarachalam. Dadrekamata Rupena. Prishta Ekadashe Vibhu. So you want to read the translation, so loud and clear. Read the French. Read it in French. Loud and clear.
La 11e manifestation du Seigneur fut l'avatar tortue. Sa carapace servit alors de pivot à la colline Mandalachal, que Deva et Ashura utilisèrent comme barat.
Jai. And purport.
Un jour, les Devas et Asuras de l'univers tentèrent tentèrent de barater l'océan de lait pour en faire sortir un nectar qui, bu par eux, leur donnerait l'immortalité. Ils utilisèrent alors comme instrument de baratage la colline Mandalachala, plongée dans l'océan et supportée, en guise de pivot, par la carapace de l'avatar tortue.
Yes, tortoise. It's Kurmadev here. Where's the Mandara mountain? Is that umbrella? Maybe that's the mountain, huh? And we have to churn. We've got the ocean there. We can see behind us the ocean. See? Maybe that's the mountain behind there on the backdrop. Great mountain. Resting on Kurmadev. And they're churning the mountain. What a funny thing to do. Huh? What do you want to do? Nothing. I think my needs a little translation. So I will speak slower. First of all, is that book any value to you here? I have this one spare one.
Oh, you have one more?
Well, you've got that one there, which is yours, and this is the one I brought with me. So it's a spare one. Extra. Is it any use to you or not?
Not really, because we have this one.
Okay, up to you. If you need more than one, otherwise I'll take it with me.
Yeah, we cannot refuse the Lord in the form of Shrimad.
Pardon?
I cannot refuse the Lord in the form of Shrimad Bhagavatam, which you propose me.
Well, this is the first one ever printed.
Wow, so I
You have to look after it. Yeah, this came before all the books came. This is a sample they sent to the BBT. How much do you want to give for it? See what you got. So today's verse is, by the arrangement of the Lord, is discussing the incarnation of Kurmadev, form of the Lord, unique form. We discussed a little bit about the sequence of the avatars the other day. And this particular pastime, he is one of the Das avatars we sing in the songbook. What's that verse you can get? We sing this pastime of Lord Kurmadev is described in the 8th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam. You can open it, read it, or I can sing it. But it's in the end, near the end. Dash Avatar Stotram. Well, it all really starts about with the demigods and their offending their spiritual master, especially Indra, who is intoxicated with pride. And Devasa Muni came along, and Devasa Muni saw Indra riding on his elephant. Second one. He saw Indra riding on his elephant. Devasa kindly offered him a garland. Indra did not care for the garland. He gave the garland to his elephant. The elephant didn't. What am I to do with this? He just threw it on the ground and crushed it with his feet. So Devasa Muni was not very impressed, and he cursed Indra to lose all of his strength and power and so on. You will fall, you'll lose your position and so on. And sure enough, after that, the demons, the battle in the universe going on every planet really between demons and devotees, and universally, more of a bigger scale. The demons became very powerful. They were headed by Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj was being, we say, empowered also by his spiritual master, Shukracharya, the powerful Brahmin, and the Bhrigu dynasty. They were priests from the Bhrigu dynasty, and the demons were actually worshipping them, following them, and becoming powerful. And the demigods lost their position. And Bali Maharaj, hey Kanath, you okay?
Try to close the door.
Yeah, very noisy, huh? Very noisy. So, Bali Maharaj and the demons were basically ruling the universe up to a certain level. There are certain levels they don't, like Brahmaloka. Some of the higher planetary systems, Janaloka, Tapaloka, they don't have access there. They're above the heavens. But that was the situation. The demigods were in great distress. And the mother of the demigods, Mother Aditi, she was very distressed. So they took advice what to do. And the demigods went with Lord Brahma to pray. When the demigods are really in trouble, they usually go to Krishna. So they all went off to the ocean of milk. There's one Vaikuntha planet in this universe, and there's in the ocean of milk. And so they go there, Swetadweep, and they pray and material desire. But eventually the Lord appeared and gave them this method, an austerity, you could say, to rectify the situation. And the Lord told them what to do, to take one great mountain in this universe called the Mandara mountain. Very big mountain, I don't know, so many miles high. Higher than you can imagine. I can't remember the figures sometimes. But it's very, very higher than anything we could conceive of, practically. As far as the mountain goes, huge mountain. So, but first the Lord said, you have to make a truce. You know this word, truce? Peace. A peace arrangement with the demons. Appease them. And then together make this proposal, that you take this great mountain and take it to the ocean of milk. Milk, I think so. Anyway, you take it there, to the great ocean, and you churn. And Vasuki, the king of the serpents, will be the churning rope to churn. And Mandara mountain will be like the pivot. You know, you churn milk like this. So that would be like, they would have to tie the rope around the mountain or Vasuki and then pull back and forth. With the idea of the demons at one end and the demigods at the other. And from this, the Lord said, you will produce nectar. The demons will be very interested in this. You will produce many things, but don't argue, don't fight, don't retaliate. If the demons steal something, take some of the nectar, whatever it comes out of the water, don't retaliate. You will lose your resort of this. In this way you will regain your positions. So they made a truce with the demons, and they were excited about this idea of churning the ocean of milk to get some nectar and different things. So they went off to get Mandara mountain, and it was a huge mountain. All together they uprooted the mountain, millions of them, powerful demons and demigods. They managed to uproot it with great difficulty and tried to carry it, but after a while they collapsed and then half of them got crushed. So the Lord then appeared on the scene himself, Lord Vishnu, on the back of Garuda, and he flew in there and agreed that they would that the Lord would, take the mountain to the ocean of milk on the back of Garuda. So Garuda picked up the mountain very easily and flew off with Lord Vishnu on the mountain on his back. And all the demigods were revived. Krishna revived them by his glance, those who were killed, etc. And they went off to the ocean, and then they prepared. But first, before anything could happen, the ocean was there, the mountain was there. Then the Lord said, "Now, Garuda, you'll have to go, because as long as you're here, Vasuki will not come, because Vasuki is in the form of a snake, and food for Garuda. Snakes is its favorite food. It likes to eat snakes." So Garuda went off, and the Lord and Vasuki came, and they started to churn the great mountain. But it was so heavy, it started to sink into the ocean, and they all became very depressed. They couldn't maintain it, going down. So again, the Lord came to the rescue, and he expanded himself as Kurma, a great turtle, and came up underneath, lifted up the mountain on his back, and the churning began. From Lord Kurma's point of view, this was a very nice pastime, because he had an itch on his back. His back was itching. You know, you get your itch on your back. You put something, scratch it or something. It's hard to reach sometimes with your hand. You have to have a stick sometimes. So his back was, for tortoises or turtles, it's hard for them to itch their back. You ever noticed? Imagine if you have an itchy back, what would they do with little tiny hands? So this is a really nice arrangement which he made. Demigods, and the story goes on, a lot of things happened. Nectar, poison, all sorts of things were coming out, different creatures, powerful creatures. And poison, Lord Shiva drank all the poison. The demons made a mistake. They thought that, the head is more auspicious. See, Lord Vishnu said, whatever the demons say, you agree to it. So the demigods were thinking to take the head, but the demons said, no, we take the head, it's more auspicious. So they took the head of the snake, and the demigods had to go to the tail. But they didn't think what the consequence of that would be. That the snake started to exhale, because it was a pretty tiring job. The snake was exhausted, back and forth. Vasuki was almost dead, being dragged back, and he was breathing out fierce hot wind air coming out from his nostrils and his mouth like anything, fire coming out. And the demons were being suffocated. They were being gassed by all this fumes coming out of Vasuki's nostrils, and they were practically unconscious. Even the demigods were struggling with it all. They were really struggling, but they carried on. Some of the Lord then created some wind, and anyway, they managed to keep going. Lord was also on top of the mountain, by the way. Lord Vishnu manifested himself on top. It's sometimes said it's a pre-pastime to Govardhan Puja. The Lord lifting the mountain, he's also on top of the mountain. It's different, but it's related. It's a prelude to the Govardhan Lila of him lifting it again in this Krishna form. But in this case, it's a different pastime, but still he's lifting the mountain, and nectar is coming out eventually. Of course, the demons steal the nectar as soon as it came out. They stole the pot of nectar. And the demigods were very depressed because they couldn't do anything. The Lord said, you can't do anything about it. So the demons got the nectar. And then Lord Vishnu said, don't be depressed. I'll make an arrangement, don't worry. You will get the nectar and regain your position. So, and he said, first I'm going to create an argument with the demons so they don't drink it. So the demons got it, but they all started fighting with each other by the arrangement of the Lord. Who should get the nectar? Nothing unusual. People, when you get money, have you ever seen it? Sometimes they fight over it. Right? Sometimes I was even in one temple in India, can you believe this? Supposed to be a devotee temple, not ISKCON, somebody else. Supposed to be a Vaishnava temple. And devotees were ISKCON devotees giving donations. And the pujaris started a fight over it. The two pujaris, an old one and a young one, they started a fight right in front of our eyes. Physical fight. Unbelievable how Maya can capture people to think that this is mine. It's for my enjoyment, not yours. So the demigods were fighting, the demons rather, were fighting over it. And no one took it. In the meantime, another form of the Lord appeared. The Lord then manifested himself in the most unique form. I mean, you could say a turtle is very unique, but in this case, he manifested in a very, very bewildering form. You know who that was? Mohini. The Mohini Murti. The most beautiful female form you can imagine. Krishna himself, but he took this form to bewilder everyone. And when the demons saw this form, they became overwhelmed, you know. And she said, don't worry, I'll settle this problem which you're having for you. And they all believed in her. They gave her the pot of nectar, and she was distributing it across it. She then went along the row, he's had them all sit down, demons, one side, demigods the other. She went along, but it's clear she was giving the nectar to the demigods, not the demons. And there was one demon who noticed what was going on, and quickly he has mystical powers. What did he do? Yeah, he disguised himself as a demigod and sat down in the demigod row. But he sat in the wrong place. He sat next to the sun and the moon. And he sat there near them, and they could immediately realize who it is. Who was that demon? Rahu. Because Rahu and the sun and the moon are enemies. They're arch enemies. And on Tuesday, by the way, there is a full eclipse of the moon. This coming Tuesday. 100% eclipse.
So we should drink the nectar before.
That's the last day of Kartik. Not the last day of Damodar. That's on Tuesday. And anyway, they realized that this is not a demigod. This is Rahu. So they pointed it out, and Mohini then, the Lord, severed his head, cut his head off. But some of the nectar had already gone in his mouth, but it hadn't gone down there. So his head becomes immortal, and is now in the form of the planet Rahu, which is always attacking the sun and the moon, in the form of eclipses and so on. Anyway, that's a little bit of an overview of that particular book. I'm going to read something, and then we have to finish there. Chitiriya vipalatare tashtita tava prishte dharani dharana kina chakra garishte keshavadrita kurma sharira Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. O Keshava, Lord of the Universe, O Lord Hari, it's in the songbook, who have assumed the form of a tortoise. Assumed. Now he can take on any form he likes. All glories to you in this current incarnation. As a divine tortoise, the great Mount Mandara rests upon your gigantic back as a pivot for churning the ocean of milk. From holding up the huge mountain, a large scar-like depression is put in your back, which has become most glorious. And let me see. Kurma. Kurma. Oh, this is nice. This is from the 12th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam. Prishte Brahmyadamanda Mandaragiri Gravagga Kanduyanam Nidra Lokamata Krite Bhagavatak Svasanila Pantuva Yat Samskara Kalanavartana Vashadvela Nibe Nambasam Yatayatam Tandritang Jalanide Nadyapi Vishramyati. This is the last chapter of the Bhagavatam. It's very strange. The Kurma is the only avatar mentioned here in the final prayer, in the final chapter of the Bhagavatam. In terms of the invocation of this chapter, for some reason Shukadeva Goswami prays or approaches Lord Kurmadev. And this translation of that verse, that's the 12th canto, 13th chapter, text number 2. And he says, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared as Lord Kurma, a tortoise, his back was scratched by the sharp-edged stones lying on massive, whirling, round and round, Mount Mandara. The mountain was going round and round. And this scratching made the Lord sleepy. Can you imagine? How is that possible? You imagine if you're lying there and someone's got like I don't know, inconceivable, but I mean a few million-ton weight on your back, churning it on your back. I mean, you'd die, but I mean, the weight was inconceivable. Of course, Lord Kurma was bigger than the mountain. So just imagine something heavy on your back anyway, someone's churning it back and forth. We don't have the body of a tortoise, obviously. You don't have your back is soft, a tortoise's back is very hard, like stone almost. So it's different, but you can imagine how that will make him sleepy. Well, sometimes when you have a massage, isn't it? You fall asleep, even a heavy one. Isn't it funny? You have a heavy massage and you fall asleep, And during the massage, it's got some. It's like that. It's like a massage. The Lord's back is getting massaged. May you all be protected by the winds caused by the Lord's breathing in this sleepy condition. It's another interesting comparison. Protected by the wind caused by the Lord's breathing. Kurma's breathing. It blows away all the auspiciousness, I guess. Ever since that time, even up to the present day, and this is a piece of information which I don't know if there's any further information on this, I haven't come across it. Even up to the present day, the ocean tides have imitated the Lord's inhalation and exhalation by piously coming in and going out. They said that Lord Kurma also is the cause of the tides. In, out, in, out. They breathe in, the tide comes in, he breathes out, tide goes out. Purport. At times we alleviate an itching sensation by blowing upon it. Similarly, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains the breathing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead can alleviate the itching sensation. This is very important. This itching sensation within the mind. We sometimes get, disturbances in the mind. Or, you have an itch on the leg, you go like this, and you try to satisfy scratching it like this. And maybe it does it some good or not. So in the mind, we're also trying to alleviate this restless mind, which is always disturbed by something, just like the ocean. It's disturbed. So the breathing of the personality of Godhead can alleviate this itching sensation. he blows it away or something. As well as the itching of the material senses, both of mental speculators and the material senses of conditioned souls engaged in sense gratification. So the Lord's breathing can alleviate, blow it away. Thus, by meditating on the windy breath of Lord Kurma, the tortoise incarnation, all categories of conditioned souls can be relieved of the deficiency of material existence and come to the liberated spiritual platform. You meditate on his breathing. One must simply allow the pastimes of Lord Kurma to blow within one's heart like a favorable breeze. Then one will surely find spiritual peace. Hare Krishna. We're going to have to finish there. We've got to go now. Kurma Dev. Huh? So we have to meditate on his breathing. Whatever it is. I don't know, but you can imagine him. Pretty big breathing going on there. Now we only see a little form of Kurma Dev, because we're very little. But it's unlimited. It's a pastime. A pastime within this universe. Namitika, form of the Lord, when for purpose he expands like this. But that purpose is important to us, to help to clear our speculative minds or our lusty minds. Please blow them away with your breathing, or suck them in by your inhalation. Take them from my mind. You may be wondering what that heavy breathing at night is sometimes when you're sleeping anyhow. And behind it. The windows are there. You close the windows, do you? I see you close the doors. Can't hear it. Hare Krishna. I see. We have to get ready. We're going to need a little help from the devotees, I think. I'm not going to read. I've got a story here of Kurma Avatar, but I know it's more or less. It looks like it's what I've already spoken. Oh yeah, it does say that after that incident, I don't know if it's in the Bhagavatam or not, but after the incident when the demons lost the nectar, then Mohini then disappeared. She flew away, and Garuda, it is said, at least this is what it says here, and the demigods, the demons became really angry and attacked the demigods, but the demigods by now had become powerful because they took the nectar, and they were unable to conquer the demigods. Mm-hmm. This was...
There were some drops of the nectar spilled on earth as well. It created like gold ores.
Yeah, some drops were spilled, it said, forming various, like in Prayag and these different holy places. It said little drops were formed tirthas, little holy places. Yeah, we can go there and attain eternality. But it's not just a matter of dipping in the water, there's much more to it than that. And so sport, said it was like a sport for the Lord, like people like to sport, throwing heavy weights or jumping over. There's some pleasure in sport. Yeah, the ocean was going like this as the mountain was being churned back and forth. And it was like for Lord Kermit, it was like a waterbed. You ever light on a waterbed? You roll this way and that way, it's really funny. It's like that, the Lord was really enjoying this. It's just like a water swing, going backwards and forwards. He's also known as Giridharan. Giridharan, the name of Kermadev, Giridharan, meaning one who bore the mountain, lifted on his back, Giridharan. Giri, like Giri Govardhan, Giridharan. No, we say Giridhara is another name of Giri Govardhan. That's also a name of Kermadev, Giridhara. And in anticipation, that means in expectancy of a similar act which he would exhibit in the form of Krishna, with lifting Govardhan hill. Hare Krishna. Okay, we got to go. And have a great weekend. Yeah.